Yo, and hello to this tier list by Makusen. A few people want me to make a tier list, so I thought why not do my best at it and try to at least explain a little bit about how I think when I rank people. Disclaimer though, ranking people is extremely difficult, and I think if you look at performance on specific races, it usually comes down to who has practiced the most. Looking at the last like FC1s, Oink Oink, every like DRWC, every race, usually the people who practice the most, they do the best. And that can literally be normally anyone. Like even if you're B tier, you can do really well. If you have a good track and you know it well, you have practiced it. So it's really difficult to make a tier list. Maybe off-season will help us in the future to better judge how we like compare to each other, but it is really hard. It is a lot of data that would be required to make this really accurate, and I don't know, it's a tier list. They shouldn't be taken too seriously. However, my comments is hopefully more interesting than the tiers themselves. So I probably won't recognize every face here, but I'll just start and see what happens. So here we have Adam's apple. We're just gonna start by placing him somewhere, and then we'll see if we're gonna have to change it up. But right now I'm gonna put him in B tier. So the thing with Adam is that he's slow, like you don't think he's really good at boat racing. At least I didn't think so. He was like, yeah, he likes to have fun, you know, drive around, mess around. Doesn't care too much about the racing part itself, at least historically. But he has shown some bright moments, and I think the first time I saw him as like, he has some talent is in IPWRC, the first test race, where he literally got like a few tenths behind me, and that was like completely new map that no one had driven, which I think tends to be my strong point. And seeing him come out and do really well with zero practice kinda shows that he might be one of those that by nature is quite good, but then doesn't practice enough to actually show it off. So when it comes to dedication, he falls off, but he has some natural talent going there. And I don't know, he calls himself a better racer than a time trialer, and also think that maybe comes down to time trialing being really beneficial for actually practicing a lot and spending a lot of time where he just hasn't. But we'll see if that changes. Now he's in the next off season, so with some practice we'll see what he can do. So moving on, I'm gonna have this list of can't rate, which is where I'm gonna have to put Akira, because I just don't know like where he is like at all. Alessandro's pretty much the same. I did spend quite some time with him during FC1 Canada, where he did really well in the race, but I feel that's just too long time ago now to like be representative of where the boat racing is today, so I don't really think it's comparable. Can this be? Is this Skite maybe? Or Altro maybe? To be honest, I don't know. We have Blue Leader. I'll probably put him on the same tier as Adam as for now. Blue Leader has not been the fastest, but has actually kind of been growing in the last months. I think has been doing quite good at races, overachieving compared to his like pace or speed, I would say. Doing like better, avoiding getting messed up and stuff. Of course we have all the lag, and that severely hurts the reputation, because even if you're fast and could do well, if you lag out half the races, like you won't get that the reputation of being really fast in the same way. But I think around Adam is probably quite accurate. I guess this is Kevin or both Hub. He doesn't race. Is this craft this? He had one outing now in FC1 where he lagged a lot, which of course makes the race kinda unrateable. He did have quite a good quality, but it's just not enough to rate anything, to be honest. Also adapting both cam for the one race is like, I don't know, it's too little to go by to have like any direct value. They have Noah. So Noah is interesting. He had a break during the summer and came back and were really slow. He didn't really follow the trajectory of improving like everyone else who kept grinding. But then we had the off-season test races where he actually popped off. Like if you look at the pace on LC track race we had, he was dominating the pace. I do believe, however, Captain Noah might be a bit more hit or miss. From my experience, has really good boat control and can be extremely fast, but can at times be kinda clueless about like finding the fastest line and might therefore need some help to be able to put down the fastest laps. Looking for off-season though, he has the teammate of Nido. Nido is the way I'm gonna pronounce it now. Accept it. And Nido, on the other hand, really likes to look at his own lines and like do the theory, so they might be able to help each other out quite a bit. But he's for sure SR8 here. I would put him in S tier. His recent like fluctuating performance might be enough to put him down in A, so I'm gonna start low and then we'll see if I'm gonna have to move him later. So next up we have Comfy. I would say Comfy is a step below Blue Leader and Adam right now, which means he gets into the Comfy tier of C. But he's been practicing a lot and I think he has potential to maybe catch up to the better guys going forward, because this man is dedicated from what I have been seeing the last months, like logs in and drives quite a bit, and he also started very recently, so he could improve fast. And then we have Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro is probably one of the hardest people to rate, because I think that from like genuine talent, like if you put him on a track and he has drives, I think he might be the best outside of me in one way. But what we see in all performances like FC1, any boat labs race, is that he normally has big issues with lag because he's from Singapore. I have really high ping, and then like I can't imagine it helping because he normally has to run the races in the middle of the night, and from my experience, really late at night your focus goes down, you make a lot more mistakes and stuff like that. But even though we have this, we do see him do really well in qualis, and I think that might be because the ping isn't as important in qualis when you don't have to race people. So it is a bit tricky. Like his performance is not as good as I think he would, like he is as a driver. Like if he had the same same ping and same driving hours, I think he would outshine most people in the community right now. I'm gonna give him the S spot, even though his performance might be more like A or even sometimes B. But I think he deserves to be regarded higher from what he's shown. And also, one of the first time I really saw Cruzeiro, what he could do was in IBWRC, the rally series, because he was the only one really threatening me at multiple occasions. Like he forced me to try harder, basically, and no one else came close. And that shows that he was like really good at adapting instantly without much practice. Okay, Crispy. The Crispy is a hard one. I thought he was really slow until some TT Friday on Trial Tent, where he suddenly popped off and was like third with really good time. So this kind of make you believe that Crispy can actually be good if he wants to. But the question is, does he want to? And how much effort is it worth to be fast? So I could easily see him in B tier. And he could probably be one of those who could jump into A tier if he really got it together. Right now, it doesn't look like it to me. But we'll see what the Greasy Gaming squad can do in off-season. But yeah, I think for now we're gonna have to put him in low B tier. I do expect him to do slightly worse than Blue and Adam for off-season races. But he's kind of volatile in the sense that he could overachieve or underachieve quite a bit. So I believe this is Digitalis. I can't rate him. He has been, from what I know, hasn't been driven in a long time. And even if people would like to rate him really high, I think everyone has gotten so much faster recently that even if he used to be a S or A tier, now he might even be C tier. But I just am not gonna rate him because I don't have enough grounds to do that. Lsako. He's also one of those people who have improved like a lot the last months. He used to be really good at time trialing, like finding wall taps and all these alternate lines and making them really good before races. But then he never really got the same times in quali and never managed to really do that well in races. But I think it looks to have been changing a bit recently. Like now he gets the fastest time faster, he has to spend less time, he does better in races. And I think he has huge potential. So I would probably want to put him in either top B tier or A tier. I'm gonna be controversial and put him in A tier, and this is based on that I think he's really improving, and I don't think he's gonna go back down. Like I think he's improving to stay higher up in the tiers. Then we have Evil. I'll probably put Evil in the blue leader Adam territory. I think Evil turns out to maybe be a bit better at time trialing than actually racing, and I think that might be a bit lack of experience and dedication for the races maybe. I would believe she's faster than Blue normally on like time trial, but probably won't do better during races right now. I think Evil gonna have to be back off B tier. I think the issue is that Evil really hasn't competed that much lately in races. So she hasn't really shown her true potential, I feel like. Although I think the potential is there, so we'll see. If she gets some time to grind the tracks for off-season, she could also do really well. So that's gonna be interesting. This, I hope, is Fantasy. Fantasy is one of those people who has also like really been improving. Like a lot of people have been improving lately. It's a bit of a shame because I think in the beginning of off-season quali he felt like he wasn't good enough to make it and he gave up on the quali. But if you look now, when he put down time, like he would be right in off-season territory of skill. Which kinda inclines that I have to almost put him in B tier, because in B tier I feel like right now is the lowest skill of off-season drivers. And C right now is just below off-season level. And I think Fantasy is off-season level at this point. Is it better than Evil? Maybe, probably. I don't know. It's really hard to judge. I think this might be based on how much you practice on day-by-day basis. But somewhere in B tier, I would say. This person I don't know. Oh wait, is this Fallen Noob? Might be Fallen Noob. I don't know, I can't rate. Paragon. Yeah, Paragon is also B tier. He can pop off like really hard and be really fast, and he can also like just rage quit and do really bad. He's like, he also lags a lot. So because of like he's so volatile, I think we can't put him higher than B. I do think he's off-season material though, so I think B is probably where he's at. I would say he's probably have higher potential than most people here when it comes to speed. These fastest laps and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put him top of B. If you disregard for all the lag and issues he's having, he's usually doing quite well. When he finishes the race, that is. At least recently I had a period where he like did really bad and gave up, but I think he come past that a bit. Yeah, Husker, I don't think I'm gonna rate. Isn't racing much. Yay, Modi. Getting into C tier. I feel like he is doing really well in time trialing in some situations and racing in some situations, but I think watching his streaming and stuff, he does quite a lot of random mistakes, just going off the track for no reason, losing a lot of time, and that doesn't fly in the field of off-season. Like, you can't do that. So I think he has to go one tier below. So yeah, like how my tier works right now is like B is base level off season, and C is just under like what I think the breaking point for top 18 is for off season, I guess. Jolly the Duck. Oh, am I allowed to rate my duck? Jolly is either C or D tier. That is a good question. He has been doing quite well at some tracks, like BCC. When he puts in effort in learning the tracks, he can do quite well. But I'm gonna put him in D tier to motivate him to practice more, so he can get even better. This Kermanite, I think. It's not gonna rate. Killer lol. Maybe C tier. Probably C tier, but I don't know enough. I'm gonna not rate. Lapis Letus. If this was a diss track music tier list, he would be S+. Shout out to the Dream diss track, but now this is boat racing, and now we need to put him back a couple of steps. So I feel like Lapis is one of the most threatening people for time trialing right now. He's like the one to really challenge me at tracks and actually make me log in more than once to have to like keep the record, which is threatening. As for races, sometimes he just plummets because I don't really know what happens, but maybe he messes up and then just gets in a bad position, and like I don't really know what happened, but they tend to either plummet or keep up. So it might be like, I think basically consistency. Like I think he has all the theory to be really fast, he knows exactly what to do, but in practice he makes mistakes that are quite bad, but I still think he's S tier. Like, I think he has super high potential, and he's improving like as we speak and getting more consistent and doing better. He's also one of those who really puts in a lot of effort. So like, if you would have no effort Lapis, where he like didn't practice and didn't care, he'd be in B tier probably. But because he always cares and always practice and does his work, he shows up. Let's say in S tier. Who is this? Well, he's in the can't rate tier. Here we have the Cookie Monster, we put him back. Mariana. Next to Evil. I think slightly slower in time trialing. Probably quite equal in race. I think Fantasy might have Mariana beat right now. I'm probably gonna put behind Fantasy. But yeah, this B tier is really like, they can be so equal. I think it doesn't really, like, the order is not that relevant. Mr. Green Jeans, I think. Or yeah. In case of this, we can't rate him. He's like, for Mount Akina, he's S tier or S plus. For any packed ice track, like easier track, he can probably be a S tier. But for like FC1 style tracks and more blue ice, from what I've seen, he doesn't really know how to drive it at all. So then, like, at that point, he's probably been C tier or even D tier, and I don't know, I think it's too hard to rate. He doesn't really compete either, or is active, so it's hard. Nindo or Naidu. Yes, Nido. I think Nido is S tier as well. So Nido really likes to do things by his own book. Like, he doesn't care too much what other people are doing. He's making his own race, and he's kind of making it work. Which kind of means that he has to do quite a bit of like analysis and theories to actually achieve that good. Like time trials and races, without caring too much about what other people are up to. So I think, I don't know, he's proven to be a solid S tier. He's doing well in many occasions. Quite stable, I think, like compared to like Noah, who either pops off or does really bad sometimes. I think Nido is more stable by his like core. Maybe doesn't have like these huge wins and pop off things, but like, I don't know, he's always good, I feel like. Ozone. Yeah. So this is Ozone with boat cam. He would get it. If he would keep the dedication he puts down in this game, his level of analysis, and actually making it easy for him, he would be S plus, right? Everyone can agree. But now, because he isn't, I think he falls down to A tier. Like, he's for sure better than everyone in B tier. That's a given. I'd say he's better than Alzaco. He's, in a way, probably more consistent than Noah, but I think that Noah has a higher skill ceiling in, like, getting those really fast laps, whereas Ozone is probably more analytical and, like, I don't know, he works harder to get his results. But I think A tier is a good place for Ozone. Higgle S tier. I'm gonna motivate it with brew, and yeah, that sounds good. Really top of this S's right now. Okay, so the thing with Piggle is that Piggle is really fast at time trialing and he's like really good. He doesn't always spend that much time and he can literally show up to races with like doing 5 laps before and still do really good. But he can like also have some worse performances when he really doesn't try and he fall behind because of that. But I feel like if he practice, he's always good. But will he practice? That's the question. Priority. Probably C tier. Toki. So Toki, old Toki, you know, he was up in the top, leading the boat racing community forward. I do felt like everyone improved, whereas Toki might not have improved as much. But he is a bit like Ozone, where he can put in tons of dedication and be really good. The question with Toki, though, is that will he? I feel like for the last months, he's, contrary to most other people, like, not really improved. Even if he used to be really good, maybe he actually, like, he have gone down a bit. So, like, to me it would be either B tier, but probably A tier. Like, I think he could probably be a bit of like an El Saco, where he could do really well, but also might not. I don't know, I feel like A tier is probably right. I do regard Noah higher than Toki though, so here we have quite a big difference. Like, maybe we need to split this actually. Okay, we're adding another row here. Doing A minus tier. Do we need to fix the color maybe? One more orange. Okay, so we go down with El Saco and Toki. Yeah, this feels way better. Renocas. Renocas is really consistent for racing. Like he can be fast and consistent, which is contrary to like some other people. But his issue might also be like dedication before races, because he can just show up and literally not on a single lap and do his best, and of course that's never a podium. Still good, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I think like when he practice he will be up with these guys, sure. I might actually move Crisera to the side, because even though I think he might have the potential to be the very, very best, he hasn't really been showing it fully. We have Rocket Race. I think Rocket Race is slightly under the S tier. That leaves A tier. He's a bit like Noah. He can be really, really fast, or he can just be slow. Yeah, I think that's about it. So the kid can't really rate because he's not active. He did some test race, but I don't know. Just not rankable. This kid, I guess this is Skyt Altro. I don't know who's who though. Ipsnaf, Soda. So Soda is also difficult because Soda's time trialer is literally S+ at this point. He's so good at time trialing when he really commits. Like, he has a level of commitment comparable to Lapis. But not always for the races, and his race pace hasn't always been showing as good. I think, like, if he just became a bit more consistent, which he might be now, when his Wi-Fi is actually good again, because he had really bad internet, he would instantly go up to S tier. But for now I think I'm gonna put him in A tier. But yeah, he has way more potential than A tier. I guess all of the people have potential in A tier, so like, I don't know. I just think that's probably where he ends up right now. Sonic can't really rate, because he's not been driving that much. Stinky. Probably somewhere in C tier. Might be B tier on like some BRWC wall tap heavy tracks. But for like more off-season FC1 style kind of tracks, I think he falls off. Then we have Techno Gustav. Yeah, he has to be S tier. I would say he's slightly better than Renocast right now. Is he better than Piggle? He might actually be better than Piggle as well. Yeah, I would say so. Then we have Laser. Does Laser get outpaced by these people? I think yes, right now most of the time. Does he get outpaced by these people? Most of the time is also yes. I think he would be Toki. I think it consistently would be better than El Saco. I think back of 8 here. So Laser says that he has been like getting worse lately, which I do agree with if you look at the tier list comparable to other people, but I don't think he has actually gotten worse as a driver. I just think that everyone else has improved more, basically. That's which makes him fall behind and stuff. But I have a hard time thinking Laser actually has became worse in the way that he really states. I just think it's, I don't know, Laser always, I think the thing with Laser is that he always had more focus on managing the community, like arranging events, making tracks, making fun stuff. Like that's always been his main thing in the boat racing community. Then it's just the fact that he's also been the best. And I think, like, I don't know, he just managed to be the best as a side hustle to doing all the good things he does. And I think that he keeps doing tracks, he keeps like doing the community part now, but he has not really had the time effort to like keep up with the skill improvements recently, which puts him further down. But then like he has all this experience, he knows race theory extremely well, so if other people mess up or be slow, he has like all the chances to capitalize on that and get really good results, even though, I don't know, I think his pace has been slightly lacking compared to other people. And I can't but ask what if these two guys use boat cam? Because literally everyone else here uses boat cam except these two. And I do think it might hold them back, but I don't know, it's hard to say. But I think 8 tier is probably correct. Is Tomax maybe? Vicky, I don't know. At Volta, Servius. I think Servius is below off-season level. Don't know. Sekrodo. I think Sekrodo could easily be here. But could also be in B tier. It depends. Sekro has like really good results sometimes, and then sometimes doesn't really pop off at all or does anything special. It's either one. I would say it's not as good as El Saco though. That inclines me to put him in B tier. Am I happy with this? Okay, let's look. I think this looks kind of fine to me. Jolly alone in D tier, that's sad. I guess that's because I know Jolly, and I don't know these other people that well. Probably beat a few of them, or quite a lot of them, but It looks sad, but it's not. And also this is for motivation, Jolly. It's for you to get faster. And then we have this guy, this little troll. Yeah, he doesn't really raise that much, so I guess we can't really rate him. So yes, not gonna rate him. And then we're gonna delete S+ here, because that was just there to bait. And here is the Makusen tier list. Enjoy.